How's everybody doing tonight? Well, really this afternoon, right? Great to see everybody. We are live in effect. We are here. We're about to have a conversation and get into this thing. Because as you see, we're gonna be talking about this Corey Kenshin situation that's been occurring. And I really want to touch on this topic because there's been there's been many receipts, there's been many things about this situation, whether that was false, whether that was correct, whether that was wrong, whether that was right. Regardless though, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it in a few. I'm gonna let for some people to come in, but great to see everybody. My name is All-Star Izzy. Hit the like button if you're new, subscribe and want to be a part of the conversation. We're gonna speak on this type of topic because there's a lot of things that I want to touch on to make sure that men in the future can avoid situations and problems like this so that they don't have to have these conversations happen in the future. Because if you don't know too much about the Corey situation, which I'm going to probably explain a little bit more further, but there's basically this mess and drama. Hold on. But it's basically this mess and drama that's occurring with him about an ex-girlfriend that is resurfacing back to the internet. And there was allegations about SA, but there was also allegations where they was talking about what's good, bro? I need to hear this one. People in my chat keep saying remind them of Corey Kenshin. Yeah. Oh, that's funny as fuck. Yeah, bro. You know I got you. Shout out to Johnny Capahala. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys go subscribe. He's right there. Take it in. He does what he does. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, though, you know, it's crazy to say like allegations and stuff, but there was also huge things talking about how he was just a bad boyfriend, the manipulative behavior, narcissistic patterns, and all those things, ghosting, whatever. So we're gonna be touching on those subjects because I was doing my research and looking at new stuff too. Because it's not that I was just making sure that I looked at what has happened. I did a deep dive research into this whole situation. From the time it was from 2016 to now resurfacing to 2025 and all the screenshots. We're not going to go through too much videos of that, but I did create some points on it, correct? Because I want people to hear this, especially because if you are on your way to become an influential man in content creation, you got fan supporters, these things can, hold on. Where's that coming from? Oh, so that's not this. That's something completely different. My bad, I hear a certain sound. I just wanted to make sure where I knew where that was coming from. It must be something over there. Regardless, though, Perry, great to see you. Great to see you. Great to see you. Regardless, I'm gonna be touching on this subject and speaking on it. I'm gonna let a couple people come in so we can really get into this convo. But I think there's just a huge importance of making sure that you stay true and authentic, and you know how to vet properly. But plus, because I looked at some new research going on in the situation with his ex-girlfriend, stating that she just wants attention. Now, one thing. And this isn't to bash women, right? This isn't to bash women. Yeah, Stone Cold, it is. Stick to the message and listen to the damn video. But it's not to bash women, but there's a lot of emotional ass women, and it's a huge requirement, especially just in life in general. But if you're looking to keep yourself up into becoming a content creator in front of thousands, maybe possibly millions of people, you got to make sure that you vet the women properly. I had to find out what's going on. Hey, Perry, I'm gonna find you out. I'm gonna put you as a moderator, so you can help to do the thing. Just for the people, because I'm finna be lost in what I'm finna do. You know what I'm saying? So you're more than welcome. Got glue for me to stick it on? Yeah, I got some. You can put it for yourself since you want to get into that. But regardless, though, this is going to be a very important thing. I want men to also know the importance of how to vet women properly. And I was saying it again, but this is so important into these things because, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get into the situation. But for the conversation, so there's been a situation between Corey Kenshin and this lady, Panda Ninja, whatever the case is, right? But in this situation, basically, was surfaced online from about 6-7 years, almost 8 years ago, is that he was basically manipulative. He was a bad boyfriend. He had narcissistic behaviors. She put a video of him where he was talking about how he did things to her in her sleep. But she also said he didn't, essay her. He didn't sexually assault her or anything like that. Shout out to YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Ain't trying to go too crazy into that bag. But the whole world, the internet really took that upon and was like, oh, well, Corey Kenshin did this and this is what's happening right now. So it's all skyrocketing. But the thing that what people can learn, and I have some main points listed down, is firstly, I'm going to speak on the importance of vetting a woman properly and knowing who a woman is. Because people can argue with me and say, well, you don't know who anyone is because she waited this many years for her to talk about a situation that happened between them. And she also said that she feels free because she posted on the internet. Listen, first things first, if you have any true trauma, anything that's real, any type of situation that's honest, you don't necessarily have to, no, not even necessarily. You don't have to put that onto social media to feel free. Because most of that always comes from you just want to feel validated and you want to feel like people can see you and be on your side and get some empathy or compassion from that. Now, there's situations that do happen, right? Because the allegations with him doing things to her isn't true. But what we're going to really point at is the behaviors of men and how they can be with women. Because if you don't take with what I'm going to give and just to move forward, you will not, there will be things that's going to resurface online about you. They're going to be talking about things about you. They're going to say how this is. And some people are going to switch up, some people aren't. But it's better to have a knowledge in ways that you interact with women, because if we're going to be honest, especially for men, when women talk about things about men online, most of the masses will take a woman's side because of the feeling versus what actually happens in the situation. So let me go ahead and go to my notes really quickly. Give me one brief moment. But that's the situation that's happening with the Corey and Kenshin thing, basically. I'm going to teach you guys how to avoid drama and get away from messy situations like this. Now, obviously, he's free from other things, but he's not free from being a quote-unquote bad boyfriend, right? And the thing is, I'm not trying to make you the best boyfriend ever. Now, will it assist you? Yes, it will. But also, I need you to understand that there are ways to lead into with women and going further. Because if not, bro, when women are going to feel some type of way, which they have the right to, right? But if women feel some type of way, they're going to take what you said and how you made them feel into a way bigger problem. And it can surface online. And now people around you may question your character. They may question your behavior. They may question who you are. Even if they feel like they know you, they can still question that. And it can switch up in an instant. Now, there's challenges and things that, will just occur regardless. But this is going to teach you how to avoid drama. Because this is not it. It's just not it. Another thing that I put was that when I did my research, it all really comes from an inability to lead with integrity and honesty, right? Because he was doing manipulative things to her, like just love bombing or whatever the case is, which, the bottom of the barrel, little tiny bullshit. The thing is that manipulation can only last for so long and destroy something eventually, which comes back into this point. And I also stated, choose your women wisely. Because and I think I said it before, but my mind probably went to another place. But it's like, people can argue and say, well, you don't know who a woman truly is. You don't know who another person is. The thing is that you can. If you bond with a lady and then she starts to kind of trauma dump, she talks about all the things she's been through, that could be a liability in the future, right? And it's not to say that you're going to do anything. What it's going to say is that there's real things going on in this woman's mind. There's real things going on in her life, and it could potentially become, it's like a ticking time bomb eventually, right? Because guys and women, but I'm going to stick with men specifically, can have a mindset of, I'm going to be the best for her so she doesn't ever have to be in a situation like this. She deserves better. She deserves whatever the case is, right? If a woman is bringing some type of drama or she has some type of complications in her life, it's your decision whether you want to bring that upon in your life as well, or you just want to move on from the situation. And that doesn't mean to lack empathy or compassion. But what that means is there can be something going on in the future where this situation may actually turn up worse. Because guys will get with a woman who doesn't have her, she's not there mentally all the way. So then she starts slashing tires. She starts maybe going off, and she's like, oh, that's just how she is. She's just healing from her trauma. Listen, people can heal, they can learn to unlearn, but that doesn't take away from a woman being chaotic in your life. Listen, I put this down too. I said, excuse me, where is it? But I was basically saying that men are harmonious. Excuse me, give me one moment. Where is this at? Yeah. Oh, yes. I said men are harmonious because one thing that I will keep saying is that when it comes to our life and our lifestyle, is peaceful. Anything that we bring in is part of our responsibility now, because we chose and decide whether we know who the individual is or not. But this is what takes you and your intuition to see what's occurring with this lady that's happening, because she was talking about how her ex or somebody, whoever, essayed her, which means, sexually assault her before. And there was like this joking thing going on, or like whatever, he said something that was insensitive. So that can even, it's just a lot that has happened. And that's just the deep bond you can have with a woman, right? Now, I'm gonna list out a couple of things, because I know that he's free from there, but one thing that men can learn, especially becoming content creators, influential men, or men that are well known within their city, or whatever the case that they're doing, right? The biggest thing is gonna be the importance of honesty and integrity, right? As a man, or growing up to be a man, learning the truth, you must lead with honesty, whether that's you wanting her, wanting intercourse only, etc., right? Because honesty is the best policy. Always put your best foot forward, but in the sense this is also authentic, is to be honest with what you want from the lady. Because, women, they can twist words, right? Because you can know it, but also, even if they twist words, it was your fault for not being direct with what you wanted in situations. If you're not honest with, or if you don't live with integrity with women, it's a liability for what can happen next, because you're not being truthful and you're not being honest. Now, I looked at some of the screenshots where it was between Corey and the lady, but they were basically just talking about how she was only like a good fuck, but he was also saying, well, you weren't just sex, I loved you too, because so she felt used, right? So regardless of that, when I hear that there was mixed signals, there's mixed messages going on. But here's the thing, mixed signals and mixed messages also means there's a lack of honesty and integrity. So with that being said, that can be used against you, because this is why it's important to be honest. This is why it's important to, if you just want to have sex with the lady, let her know that you just only want that. Liliana, great to see you. I heard the news. Let's talk about it in a few, you know what I'm saying? I'm in my bag. But hope you're doing better. The thing is that if you give off mixed signals and confusing signals, even if you guys go further with that can be used against you regardless. Because if you're not honest, no one can say that you never wasn't lying. You were being completely honest. Your men are getting in situations with women where they're leading with boyfriend and girlfriend vibes, because they only really truly want one thing. But you can see how things backfire. Now, I know they were boyfriend and girlfriend, right? But so I don't really, there wasn't necessarily too much on us exactly what was going on in between the situations for them. Like how it all started, how did it occur? Were they hooking up at first? Was he selling a dream? Who knows? But there were some screenshots where I was seeing that it was inconsistent and confusing. The hot and cold method, basically just you're here one day and then you're cold and you're kind of ghosting the next minute, detachment from the message or detachment from what's happening right there. But those situations can lead to nasty and dirty things going in the future, because again, yes, it's fucked up if she's twisting your words and you're not like that. But this is where the responsibility of accountability and understanding that my honesty and integrity is always on the line as a man, okay? That's just the truth. And men need to understand this, because with a situation as big and as influential Corey is, things can resurface because they have that against you. You don't want anyone to ever have anything against you and be able to twist your words in any type of capacity. Because especially if you're going up, if you're doing well for yourself, and it doesn't even have to be on social media per se. It could be just you're going up in your career, you're doing well for yourself, you're evolving more, you're becoming more, whatever the case is. People will want to use certain things for you, especially at a certain height of where you at. That's why it's important to lead with honesty and integrity. This is going to be a quick story, because I remember I was in high school. I was in it was 11th grade. I had a girlfriend. I was doing long distance. She was in Florida. Crazy, right? Anyways, but I was fucking with another woman in my high school. So we were doing that. My friends knew, but then they ended up figuring out, because I forgot I gave my Florida girlfriend at the time my password to my Twitter. So the woman who I was fucking with in high school messaged me on Twitter, and then my girlfriend in Florida messaged her on Twitter, and they were going back and forth, exchanged numbers. Everything blew up. There was going on, social media was going off of me. All her friends in Florida, all the people in the high school were going off, right? So it was almost like that example taught me You know, obviously the lying and the cheating and all that jazz, right? But it taught me of how the importance of honesty and integrity was. Because if I never had that lesson, if I never had that experience, I would never understand what it's like to move forward, because it backfired against me regardless, right? And I wasn't being truthful on certain situations, so that thing occurred to me. So when it comes to things that are happening regardless, because there's a lot of men that are growing up, you know, men turn 17 to 18, 18 to 19, and people got the game fucked up, okay? You think you need to act a certain way, you need to say these certain strategies and manipulate her just to get what you want. But honestly, you just got to be honest, and that's the best way to get exactly what you want, is to be honest with the lady and not to be less confusing. And here's the thing, what you can even do if you don't know what you want, just tell her that, and give her the freedom to decide what she should do next with you. Because if you know what, I really don't know what I want, because I want you, but I'm also not sure if I wanted to even go in the future to have you as a girlfriend. Be honest, because these things will be used against you. And even if it's not just a Corey Kenshin situation, this is also situations that happen just with regular ass people, where it's always occurring. You will always hear about, this guy did this, he was manipulative, he was a narcissist with his behavior, he was leading her on, he was, all those type of conversations will always happen if you don't lead with integrity and honesty. And that's exactly what's going on with Corey right now. The thing is that it happened years ago. So this, I think they said like 2016, 2018. That's like damn near 5-7 years ago. So if it happened around that time, yes, you can evolve. But this also goes to show that what you say matters, and what has happened before can also be brought up, okay? Especially if you're not showing any type of growth, you don't really talk about it, which you don't need to, but it shows the importance of why you should still be honest. Because although he didn't do nothing super fucked up, it's not like he did crazy shit. He was, you know, physically and, you know, all the extreme measures, but still being confusing, hot and cold, manipulative about certain things will still be brought up because of how you acted before. And sometimes people can see that and always think that's who you are forever. So it's important to understand this. Liliana says, yes, people always dig up dirt when you're moving in the world. That's true. Johnny also says, your actions got to show it too. I've been honest verbally and was mistakenly being Superman. My actions. Yes, I'm glad that you said that too, Johnny, because that's a huge thing too. That's probably also with the hot and cold, because men could be telling women, oh, I don't want a relationship, I just want to smash. But then y'all fucking, and then y'all sleeping together, like you cuddling, you know what I'm saying? You going, you know what I mean? It's like going to the extreme measures of doing other things, and she's kind of confused. She's like, wait, you're doing other actions, and that makes her question your character, because you're like, wait, but I don't really want it. Why is she acting weird? Why do you think? I'm glad that you pointed out. That was a really great example of that. Now, the next thing that I also put was the importance of authenticity and consistency. All right, because when I was doing, and I wrote this down because, you know, we in here. I'm damn near like a private investigator for things that I like. Did I spell what wrong? I did spell what's wrong. Anyways, let's keep moving on. By the way, my name is All-Star Izzy. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. We on the road to the top. Enjoy this conversation, because this is about Corey Kenshin, but this is also about those who want to bring themselves up as a creator, or anybody in this world. If you just want to move up, period, it's best to know what I'm going to be teaching you. I need you men, women can learn this too, to be drama-free in the life and vet who is coming into your life as much, and to understand who you are and what you are giving off into the world. And if you don't know, don't be blind to see what you are failing to see for yourself, right? So, number 2, the importance of authenticity and consistency. As I was doing research, there were many people saying how he acts as if he's perfect. You know, people are just saying how they're saying. Because I believe there was like a post, he's a Christian man, which is no knock on religion. He was talking about he's about the word, you know, things just like that, correct? But what the supporters are questioning is he really who he say he is? And you will always have people that may question that, but if they don't know you. But what it shows, and I put in parentheses, even in a relationship, is that what you do in one thing shows up everywhere else. While reading his ex's post, she spoke on how it was a lot of hot and cold, meaning I think I know him, but then something happens, he does something differently, and I don't know him anymore, which is now happening in real time with the supporters. So with that being said, is to say that why the importance of authenticity and consistency is there is because there was a quote that she also said too, excuse me. You talk about devotion, but act like hurting people in private doesn't count. That's not devotion, that's hypocrisy. She called him out on shit and he kept redirecting it back to her fear of vulnerability and accountability. So what's also showing is that the way he was in his relationship is also showing how his supporters, if you can see the correlation between how his people, how the supporters and his fans are thinking, is he really who we say he is? Because he was hurting people in private. Now, granted, this is years ago, but still, because it's brought up to this time now, some people are looking at it just a little bit differently because this is also how it shows that people can present themselves very well. And it's not just him. It's a lot of other people. How people can present themselves very well on social media, in real life, or whatever the case is, but they're a completely different person when it's private. They're different in their relationships. They're different with people on one-on-one. They're different in intimate settings. And if you're not consistent with who you are while you bring yourself here versus where you bring yourself back into privacy with other people, that will always come up to question, and it will always bring itself there because some people may feel some type of way, be like you're being inauthentic, and somebody may have a grudge against you and say, you know what, I'm going to call him out on social media. He's bringing himself up to be a certain way, right? They're talking about how he was Christian and how he's devoted to the word. But he's over here being manipulative. He has like narcissistic behaviors and he's ghosting. He's being hot and cold. So now that's being brought up for people questioning who his character is. And that's why it's important to be authentic. Now, the thing is, you can show who you are and be truthful. But that doesn't mean you can't have a private life in the back end. You can. You should, to be honest. Not everything is for everybody. But that doesn't mean to treat people wrong because you think that nothing will come up to the surface. Nothing will feel some type of way. Because one thing that the lady said, Panda Ninja, was that she feels free by posting all the bullshit that's happening. What's happening? Yes, sir. Shout out to Supreme View. But she feels free by posting all the screenshots and the, talking about the whole situation between her and CORYXKENSHIN. That's not being free. That's fishing for attention, as she said. She said she just wants to be seen. But this is why it's important to understand why leading with integrity is everything. Because her whole thing is based on how she feels. And it's no knock on whatever has occurred, right? Things happen, that can make people feel some type of way. But it also includes growth because this was years ago. But because it's being brought up again, people are questioning his authenticity and his character. Now, most people are not there to see. They're there for him. But they're not there to see is CORYXKENSHIN authentic. They're there for his YouTube videos. But because they start to see it, they can look at him in a different way because he wasn't consistent with how he brought himself to be on social media versus how he really was in his private life. Again, you can have a different private life. You can have a different side to yourself, which people don't need because privacy is everything. But make sure with what you do outside and you interact with people, it is authentic and it's true to your character for what you display on social media, because they will use that against you. I've seen multiple people even on YouTube right now that's cooking him, that's calling him toxic, a liar. They're calling him narcissistic. They're saying that he's not who he say he is. He's this and that, right? Okay, even if that was him, again, years ago, I'm not even defending, bro. I'm not defending nobody. I'm here for the truth. Even if that was 6, 7, 8 years ago, because it's coming up to light now, people will use that against who you are at this time because of what has already happened. Unless they're real, loyal, true fans and supporters. But there still may be a question of, is he being honest though? Which is true. Johnny also says, people at time use their religion to hide. They try to hide their behaviors too. Yes, even just exactly. They try to use that. They use a lot of things. They use, all that public nice image, PR shit. People use that all the time. But this is why it's important to be authentic and to be consistent with who you are in real life and on social media. Because you should be who you are on social media, but obviously you know how to get attention, you know how to get viewers, whatever the case is. But also, things need to match up. When they see you, it's just a heightened experience of being like, damn, you are who you say you are. But it's even better because this experience in person is a lot better. And I see you. You know what I'm saying? Oh, shit. Like, you're him, but you're him plus more. You're her, but you're... all that jazz, right? And there was this screenshot that I had, and I wish I could post it on here, but I'm gonna read this to y'all. It was between Corey and Panda. I'm just say Panda. I was gonna say Shorty, but he said, "You were never used for sex. I need to make you understand that I loved you. Like I said, I didn't have my shit together." And she said, "You love me? How is that even possible?" Even if that screenshot is fake or based on for what it is, that shows just a hot and cold behavior, right? Because people saying that they, and it's true, this happens in real life as well. "Oh, I loved you, but I didn't have my shit together." That's basically just saying you were the right person at the wrong time, and I wasn't basically on my best behavior, and it just is what it is. So with that, when you try to do that with women and it confuses them again, it can bring up conversations that come to the surface where they're gonna say, "Oh, you're like this, you're manipulative," and all that. And now there's a story on you, and they can get the attention and they can get the, validation and followers, supporters from that off of you because of things you didn't lead with integrity or honesty. Now, we all been through some bullshit, maybe some less than others, maybe some more than others. But the point is, for now, is to not live the life that you once lived. It's to live, it's to, I've used that line. It's not to live the life that you once lived, it's to live a new life with intention and focus. Because one thing that we're gonna learn, men, women can learn this too. Moving forward, what we speak and what we teach here is to make sure that you're intentional and you're focused on what you got going on. We're building legacies. We're building empires. We're building something huge for ourselves and for other people that's within the community. It doesn't even have to be on the social media sense. It can just be in real life with the community you're working with, or with your family, or just for yourself as a young single bachelor, whatever. But the whole point is why these things are important to come forward with, and why it's important to do this with women around, especially with women, because men have the game fucked up thinking they need to do persuade, they need to talk to her, seduce her just to get inside because she's hesitant. You don't need to do all that. Women respect men who are honest and direct with them. That doesn't mean you got to be creepy and direct. Learn some sauce, get some swag on your tone. You know what I'm saying? Talk that shit, but cool. But it's just to make sure that whatever you speak on going forward is going to be something good for the both of y'all, and it's a win-win situation to where she can't even look back and say, "Hey, he was never lying to me. He was never like this. He was always upfront and honest with me." I have women that have told me that a lot of times, that I've never lied to them, just kept it 100, and they love that. They lead with that going forward because they see how much people lie out here, how much men try to lie or persuade them to be with them, to get a drink with them, to have fun with them, to have sex with them, they can see it all, because what the importance also is the leadership and guidance of what we have and the impact we truly make, not just on women, but with those around. Because if we lead life with authenticity, integrity, and honesty, those around us can see what that's really like and be able to see through lenses that are different and see those that's around them. Whether the people that surround you making new friends, new relationship connections, making new acquaintances, they can see what's real versus what's fake. And that stays and sticks with them, because it's not to say that you need to come around me so I can teach you this. You're going to be taught that because I already am that, plus more. And then that will take it going further, being like, wow, this is how life can really be. And then this is what gets you to see the two lenses. And we talked about it last night, was World 1 and World 2. Great to see you, Tracy's. Great to see you, Satsmate. But it's World 1 and World 2, and we talked a little bit about it. I think B3 was there. But World 1 is the game, right? The game of yourself, you, self-love, your reality, creating your reality, and more. Game 2 is the strategic game, which is more, people put on facades to get strategies to get up to where they need to because they know this is the place that's going to get them, right? So there's always the World 1 and World 2, and where I like to reside in and what I like to teach men and to show men is that World 1 is the best world in the world most men need to reside in, and women can reside in there as well, but that's the game of yourself and game of life and game of love of who you are and how you're creating these things. That's why it's important to understand the connection between leading with integrity and honesty, because that's World 1. Because if you don't have World 1 intact, World 2 will use what you didn't do in World 1, right? Because I'm being dishonest in the whole CORYXKENSHIN situation. Because he was dishonest, he was honest with himself in World 1. World 2 took his dishonesty and ran with it, and now it's being resurfaced back here, and now things are being pushed in there. They're questioning his character and seeing who this man really is. Johnny also says, as men, we got to unlearn the behaviors. I've never seen a man be honest in my life until I looked in the mirror. That's truth. That's honest. See, that's honest right there. But it's true. Men need to, like, they have to. That honesty and integrity is a man's biggest asset. It's definitely top 3 for sure. That is one of the biggest assets you can have. That goes for anybody, but of course I specifically like to aim at men, is that is a huge asset in this world. You got to make sure that you are honest and whatever. That doesn't mean you have to be like, you don't got to be honest when you're in company. What are you here for? To get money? That's real. But at the same time, oh, of course, you know, you got to milk it, whatever the case is. But that's world 1 and world 2. And if world 1, if you don't really have that within yourself, world 2 is going to take with what you said before. Great to see you, Jay. Thank you for starting out. But world 2 is going to basically tell you that what you did, they're going to amplify your dishonesty. They're going to amplify your inauthentic. They're going to amplify what you said. They're going to amplify your leadership and guidance. Because even in world 1, if you lead with integrity and honesty, world 2, in world 2, there still resides those fake people. There still resides the people who are inauthentic and who's going to feel some type of way, right? But world 2 will also amplify what you do. So it's always that quote of, you get exactly what you deserve, right? So if I'm inauthentic with me, as within, so without, I will be inauthentic in world 2. I will be strategic, because most people think that you need to be manipulative and strategic on world 2, and to be there, this is how you go up in the world. You can get some certain things, but what is important to you? Is it important for you to move up into the ladder just a little bit, but it's gonna end up blowing in your face, or to lead with integrity and lead with honesty, so that way you can not only impact yourself, impact others around, and uplift and empower them, but that will amplify yourself. So it's almost like what is it called? It's like the short-term and long-term gratification, delayed gratification and short-term gratification. Most people in world 2 want to reside in the pleasures of life, want to reside in what they feel and get that most. World 1 really teaches you that delayed gratification is a great way to go into excel and put yourself up into a new place so you can truly understand. BD, great to see you. You know what I'm saying? We're doing great, bro. We just breaking this down because it's important. And a lot of people in here are content creators. They're people that's influential, men, women. And I'm just basically touching on the importance of honesty and integrity and authenticity, plus and how to move forward and go into the future, because it's beautiful things like this where most people don't really see, because you don't want to be inconsistent with how you show yourself into the world versus how you are in private life, and you can be hurting people at the same time. Now, number 3 for what I put, correct, is that, and then this is gonna be just true, you know what I mean, just in general, it's just to leave your exes and leave people alone that you have flings with. And the reason why I mention this, and some of us can know, some of them cannot know, is that there is multiple men and women as well, but I'm gonna specifically speak for the men that are going back into the things that they used to be with. You don't need to rekindle things. Leave things for what it's supposed to be, because those things mainly can have either it left off bad, you want to rekindle the fire. You had a good times, good memories. Maybe the relationship was good, but the way it ended was bad. You want to rekindle and have that chemistry again. Leave those things alone. Because if you don't leave it alone, you're bringing yourself back to old behavior and energy of what is occurring now. You may think that you change, but truly, if you do have a true change within yourself and you evolve, you're not going back to things that once had. You can be like, you know what, this was great, but I don't want this anymore, and it is what it is. And then you can move forward and enjoy the embracement of the memories that once were. But if you go back into there, you're also inviting other energies that has happened into your life and different things that's going on. And most people don't see that. Because people can think, oh, I'm better off not even knowing. I'm there, you know, I'm good now. I don't need to see that and everything. Like, oh yeah, I'm a completely different person. But if you're a completely different person, you would never go back to something that once was when you were that once version. Because that also makes those things resurface back into the world. And you're thinking to yourself, damn, I thought I changed. I thought you changed. No, it did not change. Neither did you. That's why you went back. But it's important, right? Of course, if you see them in a Starbucks, you just there, you can have, oh, hey, yo, what's up, what's up, what's up? Boom, keep moving on. You don't got to rekindle nothing. Leave things for what they're supposed to be at. Let it all go. Let it be what it needs to be, bro. There's more, there's bigger and better, because at the end of the day, we all really get what we're, at the same level as. You know what I'm saying? It's true. Now, learning from all of this saves you from this messy and sloppy ass situation, because, yep, and I even said that, even if you evolve from a situation a long time ago, but if it gets brought up on social media, people will more likely hear it versus than what it is. And this is what made me think of this conversation we were having last night at the Great to See You, Harlow, was that play your cards right. Everybody was blessed with certain cards. Everybody has a certain card to deal with. Men and women, different individuals, different unique things. We all have different cards. But this is why it's honest and it's true to know that we have to look at World 1 and World 2. World 1 is where we reside as the game of ourselves. World 2 is the game of the world that was created off of strategic and manipulation. What are the best cards that you have at play? Everybody is blessed with different individual cards, and we have to understand how to deal them. We have to understand what's our strength and weaknesses, because if we don't know, we may play the wrong cards at the wrong time and things can backfire. Of course, experiences will occur. You got to experience it. You got to make sure that you're learning things in order for things to go above and beyond, for you to understand, okay, this ace may not be the best time for this. Let me go ahead and put down a king right there. So boom, you do that to make sure that it gets you to a better place. But if anything, one of the biggest takeaways from this situation is why honesty is just important in general. Why you need to be honest if you have relations or want relations with a woman, if you want to move forward in life, if you want to get even just great dating results in general, just be honest. Of course, don't be creepy, don't be weird, but be honest, because eventually everything will end up backfiring to you, no matter what it is. Whether you think that or not, whether you think that you're safe from God, whether you think that you got a status and no one's, the rules always apply. No man, no woman, no animals are above the rules, right? And that's the rules of the game. And in the game, if you do something that is disingenuous and you're lying about it, you're putting yourself at risk, and you're putting yourself as a liability. You're basically telling the game, I'm willing to risk and double down on whatever's going to happen. Because things that has happened, and especially when we talked about the old exes and the flings, you don't need to rekindle certain things. And it's why it's important to understand what type of energy you're inviting into your life. What type of women are you having into your life? Because if you invite chaos into your life, you will get chaotic results. There's no saving somebody. Unless people want to be saved, people can do the saving themselves. That doesn't mean you can't be a great leader or teacher. That don't mean none of that. What it just means is to comprehend that what goes forward is that I'm still the dictator and creator of my decisions in my life. So if I'm inviting this in, why do I actually want it? And then this comes the question of, who am I really to myself? This is why the importance of authenticity and consistency. This goes back into the character individual. The decisions that we create, the actions that we take is really who we are. Because again, if we're just thinking of what we say and that's what it really needs to be, is completely false if we're not doing it really consistently in our real life. The best way to create confidence and have undeniable trust within yourself is to make sure you align your actions and your words. That is the best part right there. If you want to build trust for yourself and you want better for yourself, you got to make sure you line up with everything that you say. Because people do trust themselves. People do have confidence, but their trust and confidence is based in chaos. Their trust and confidence is based in my bad decision-making skills, in my toxicity, in my just all these bad results. You're confident in that, but you're not confident into something better, in evolution, in empowering yourself and making a lot better decisions. And the reason is because that is a complete unknown to what you're used to in life. The importance of authenticity and consistency lies within the character of the man, of who they are, the person of who they are. Sassmay says, sometimes being honest will show you what it is. Not everything on the net is for real life. It's very true. There's a lot of things that's not for the net. Especially this entertainment world, all the jazz, all that stuff like that. But if you're someone who strives for better, wants to evolve, you're a content creator, not even content creator, you want to build up yourself in a company, you want to build yourself up in a community, the best thing to do is to lead with honesty. Always, that is your first one. Your first one has to be step foot is honesty and integrity. What am I doing this for? What do I stand for? And why am I saying what I need to say? And where is the direction I need to go? That doesn't take away from you knowing what World 2 is about. Because World 2, remember the game of The game of society. Society created a game to where you got to be manipulative, strategic. You got to be a people pleaser in order to get yourself in the door. That's really where that really resides in, which I can do another breakdown in the future. But right now, let's just stick to that, because in companies, you can if you live in a world too in the companies, you can really bring yourself up high because you're doing the strategy. You're taking strategic moves, right? That doesn't mean you can't be strategic in life. That just always means, though, you're interacting with someone, just know there's always a decision to be made and to be created for what I can do to move forward. And how should I be presenting myself in this situation? Because people will twist your words. Even if you're real, people will still twist your words. But the thing is that you know that they're lying because you know it's not true. And if it's built off false foundations, that false tower or that tower that you have already is going to fall down regardless. It's going to take it's going to be that one day. Is that lie? Is that inauthentic consistency worth your foundation or your tower exploding? This is what people need to learn, and specifically what you can learn from this Corey and Kenshin situation. I said and Kenshin, but Corey Kenshin situation. I'm going to reread these and I'm going to leave this off for here. But great to see you, Chaplain. Great to see everybody. Shout out to everybody here. My name is All-Star Izzy. You're more than welcome to like and subscribe. Thank you for being a part. But we're really breaking this down because I want people to truly understand what it means and what you can learn from situations like this, right? Let me say it. Number one, this, you know what? Yeah, it's actually a lot of things. Number one, choose your women wisely. Choose your battles wisely. Choose what you bring in. Understand what you bring in is a certain energy is going to come with it, right? Number two, the importance of honesty and integrity. Put your best foot forward and make sure that you're honest with the things that you are saying, especially when it comes to women and dating. Because God knows, I know too, a lot of y'all are not honest. You guys think people got the game fucked up thinking you need to do this one way, when really you can get the best way by being honest. And if you don't know that, I guarantee if you try, you're good. Integrity is very important as well. Number two, the importance of authenticity is consistency. Your character is everything. Who you are to you, to the world, and to people in private is everything. And you got to make sure you're consistent with it, because if not, it'll come up and people around you will start to question who you really are. Because really, even if those little faulty things happen, you have to question who you are. It's what it really means. Who am I? Why am I allowing this to happen? Number three, leave your exes and your old flings alone, And those is my things that I want you guys to learn from this situation like this. Johnny says, honored to have a teacher like Izzy around, bro, preaching that real shit. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for everyone stopping by and being here. But that's the things that I really wanted to talk about, because even when the allegations of certain things was false, there's still things to be taught. Because if he's being talked about how he was a bad boyfriend, he was all this, that's still a lesson for men to take in the future. Because yeah, that was 8 years ago, but there's somebody going through that same situation right now. So hopefully they can come across this message and what I'm teaching, so you don't have to live a toxic, chaotic ass life. Men are meant to be harmonious because there's peace within ourselves. You should be living a drama-free life. The only shit that I know that can cause drama, of course, is things that I say, maybe some movies I watch, but I don't invite drama into my life willingly to be like, I want drama. No. I know if I say something that may be controversial, it can cause some. But that's because I'm intentional. And what this teaches is for the man and the woman to be focused in what they're bringing on in life. Because whether you like it, whether you know it, whether you do want to know it or not, this shit is real life, and you are the creator of what you bring in. So if you're floating through life, if you're just letting it happen, just whatever, just it might happen now, I don't know, I'm just gonna live, go with the flow. Then don't be sad about what the results are. Because if you just want to go with the flow, life will show you to go with the flow. You get everything you ask for. Everything. Great to see everybody, but thank you for stopping by. That's going to be my time for tonight, guys. This was a very important conversation to bring up, especially we do have a lot of content creators, that do, creators in general. And the best thing to understand is that as you move forward, just live life with intention and complete honesty. Because if not, it will come back around you and people will use against you. You can start now. Start the new life, start the new way, start the new characteristics, the new actions now. Don't wait until, oh, let me wait until like this and that. No, this needs to occur now. The questions need to be asked now. You need to learn how to move forward now. Because if not, you will be a man not only to invite chaos, but you will be a man that's in love with chaos, that wants the chaos. B3 also says if you don't want something best thing, if you don't want something, best thing to do is to be honest and tell someone. Being told is fake love. It hurts more than exactly. And the thing is too, you manipulate emotions. There can be strong consequences that come out of those emotions. Yeah, let's get some stars in the chat. Shout out B3. Remember what you said last night? Don't forget it. Absolutely, exactly, Chaplain. But there's strong consequences for things that you want to manipulate. No one is above the rules. Never let yourself, never let others think that otherwise. Nobody is indestructible when it comes to those rules. The rules apply to everyone. Even if you believe you're on top of the world. But that's why it's important, even as you feel like you're on top of the world, to still be neutral. Because there's still things to do. The mission isn't done yet. That's going to be my time. I want to see, yeah, a flower that grows out of the concrete. Yes, sir. But that's going to be my time. One thing I'm going to leave off is to shine within, to shine without. Remember, you got a voice for a reason. And for those watching this again, or we're going to bring it back, remember the importance of all this so you can avoid all this bullshit ass drama. And don't invite things into your life that you don't truly want. And if you actually want it, you got to question yourself. Until next time, everybody, you guys have a great one. Peace.